Hello and welcome to the 8th episode of the Blender Developer Sneak Peek. My name is Thomas Beck and I'm really happy that we have the 8th episode here because I was thinking we are in the bug fixing period and so no one will add new features, but the developers were adding new features and very cool new features since our last video, and so I decided to make another one. The first thing I'd like to show you is the clamping separation. Thomas Dinges was introducing this and he separated the clamping value. Formerly we only had one value there, the clamp value, and now we got a clamp direct and a clamp indirect value. So we could separately clamp the different passes now. And let's just look at it now. When we are clamping the direct light, that would be, there's a lamp here, that would be this light cone there. Then we could simply increase this one to say 1. And we are seeing that the direct is clamped. But you're still seeing this light cone, this over-brightened light cone there. And if you'd like to clamp those values here, then you would just increase this value. See? So we got a very fine control over what to clamp now. And I think that is really awesome. In so many of our projects, that would be so cool. And I'm very happy that we have it now. So thanks, Thomas. The next thing we got here is the F-curve noise modifier. And you already know that modifier, but let me just switch to it. So let's add a location keyframe here and a location keyframe there. And then switch to one of the curves here, and we are using the Z location curve now, adding a modifier, and that will be the noise modifier. And normally when you add this noise modifier, then you wouldn't have this offset value, and with this value you could offset this whole curve, and so you could very easily apply several modifiers, several noise modifiers on all those oh damn it, hypercurves, and then simply offset it so it gets more variation. And that is really cool and very helpful for delaying some animation and make the animation less similar. So that was a really cool addition too. Another really helpful thing is that Sergey was rewriting the Boolean operations. So he's using just to clarify it, we're using the carve library beneath all our Boolean to make all our Boolean operations. And normally we were doing it like tessellate all the polygons and then operating with the carve library on it and then loading it back to Blender. But that was converting a lot, and so Sergey rewrote that to supply the original mesh data to the library, to the carve library, and then let carve do their work, and then just taking it back into Blender. So we should have much more stable Boolean operations and better looking Boolean operations afterwards. So to test that, you could very easily just take one UV sphere and use this with the Boolean modifier now. Let's take sphere and intersect. And then let's hide the sphere. And then you'll see that those faces are pretty nice now. Very easy and very accurate. So you shouldn't have those many flickering that you experience sometimes, and that should be much better than before. So difference in union is the same. Just use it and you'll see the difference. The next cool thing was an addition from Brecht, our main cycles developer. He added something for all of you that are playing with the volumetrics a lot, and that is the volume sampling. This option here, the volume sampling homogeneous setting. Normally we only have distance to choose, but since recent builds we have equiangular too. And what that does is visible in this rendering here. Let us just inspect the scene. There is a simple spot lamp here. We have a volume scatter node in our world. Let me just show you this. There is a background, a simple background. There is a volume scattering node connected to the volume shader input here in the world output. And apart from that, that is very simple, just diffuse BSDF, a spot lamp here, and then I rendered it the first time with the distance setting here, and the second time with the equiangular setting. And those were the results. Just look at the times there, 2 minutes and 13 seconds for the equiangular, the new option. That is a bit longer than the distance option, but look at the image quality. This image has been rendered with this setting, and this image has been rendered with the distance setting. It is a bit faster though, but the image quality is much better with the equiangular setting. So just use it if you got some world with a volume material on it. Then just use equiangular, or at least test it once. Apart from that, I think Brecht or Local added a patch that is making the hair code 6.5% faster than in the previous versions. So I think we got at this moment a speed increase overall from the last version, the 2.69, to the current version. I think we are at 25 or 30% less render time. So that is really much. And when I read the documentation about the Gooseberry project, right, then Brecht is preparing some cool optimization sprint, and this will optimize the render speed even more. And I will create a website for that, so you could keep track of all the speed increases that are happening in Blender. So I think it will be ready in 3 weeks or so, and then we could track down all the speed improvements that we got in Blender. After all this volumetric stuff, let's come to the last thing. The last thing is some new feature in the cloth simulation, and that is to have some sewing seams. For that I prepared some very simple scene. Let me delete this lamp, we don't need that. Here is our sphere from the last example, and this one is a fairly basic cloth simulation. Just a plane with a fairly high subdivision, then some edges, 4 edges on this side, 3 edges on this side, and 3 edges on this side. And what we are doing now is we are selecting those edges, all those edges, and then we are assigning this to an group. I prepared one group and I named it sewing. And when we are activating the cloth simulation now on this thing, and the collision physics now for this thing, then we could define that those edges are sewing edges. So sewing, so to say, they are pulling this thing and this thing together, so that both cloth pieces are sewed together. And you define that by just clicking, activating cloth sewing springs, then supplying this vertex group that you were adding here, and then giving a force. This force is very easy to explain. Let us just keep this on 0 and start the simulation, and you see, okay, there is nothing happening. Just simulating, but nothing happening. See? When we are increasing this force, then those edges are more or less pulled together. So you see now it's pulling those cloth pieces together. And when we are increasing it even more, for example to 3, then you see, okay, it's a bit like sewing it. And with this simulation you could very easily, if you are not only having those edges on there, but on this side too, then you could very easily sew those cloth pieces together. So let's just do this quickly by defining some more edges that are sewed. This one, this one, this one, this one, and this one. And let's add those to the edge, to the vertex group too, by selecting all, then Control and G, assign to active group, and restart the simulation. And then you see, okay, this is really a bit like sewing those pieces together. So that was this feature, and although I have said that this is the last feature, I still got one for you. And for that I'd like to have the whole space here, because we are going for tabs again. And let's just delete that and select the sculpt mode. And then you'll already see that we got now sculpting tabs too. So let me increase those to make them more easily visible. We got the tools tab here, the options tab, and the grease pencil tab. So it's much less clicking already. And some disqualification commits from Sebastian too, like this one, the angle that is right beneath the user, or the rake or the random. This value is now in the same line. So we are constantly improving those interfaces. And it's already much clearer to do all those stuff. The same goes for all other painting modes, like the texture or the weight paint mode. We got now tabs there too. And we try to optimize it even further in the next release. But now I think that is enough, because we are very close to the release. We have to looking forward to iron out all those bugs that are currently present in it. And so I think that this will be the last thing that we added tabs wise before the release. So that was all. I hope that you enjoyed this episode. We're very happy about everyone who adds us on Twitter, on Google+, or on Vimeo. Please share this episode so everyone can know about these new features and learn a bit. And I hope to see you next time. Till now, keep on blending. Bye.